All right, Alex. I'm not sure about this one. Remember the patent that I sent you in the email? You know, the satellites, quantum computers in outer space using relativity. And I took that to Lockheed Martin. You know the whole story, right? Well, obviously, this using relativity should be able to see the future if you have some sort of a communication system that traverses pretty quickly itself. Of course, comms traverse quickly, right? They're going to traverse faster than the telescope itself is, right? The speed of light, I would imagine, even faster than that. Well, if you have something in outer space, let's say you get in a spaceship and you go do 80,000 miles an hour to Pluto and back, or even faster than that. Let's say you do 500,000 miles an hour to Pluto and back. By the time you get back to Earth, you're going to be the same age, and when you get back, everybody's probably going to be dead that you knew, right? It's relativity, right? Which makes it possible to see the future. Now, what you got to think about is while you're doing that, and you have media being streamed to that ship, right? Faster than you're going, right? And then you stream data back. You see, that's where it gets tricky. I don't know, what I'm getting at is I don't know how you would travel back in time, right? How do you do that? The only way that I can figure you do that is since you're traveling, and you got to realize the media is being used for this. The media is being used for this entire fucking thing that I'm talking about right now. That is what the media does. That's what fake news is about. Everything. It's one big scheme, right? It has to do with this. Now, there's other reasons they do it because we're in a technocracy and nobody's going to break the law unless you cause people to break the law, right? So they have to make fake news, okay? Remember the Pinky and the Brain episode? That's what the school shootings are about. There is no news, right? That's why right at the time President Trump got elected, everything was just kind of like, right after Vegas, you remember how fucked up the news goes? Like, what happened to the media? We've all lost our fucking minds here, right? Well, that's when this big scheme started in the country. They they flipped that switch and everybody started being mind controlled, and you have this technology that's capable of preventing crime. So you're not going to have any fucking news. You're going to have the weather, right? Unless you make news. Okay? You see what's evil about this? Now you have a computer dictating who gets in a car wreck or what school gets shot up or what disaster there is and all of that. It's not a natural thing. It's driven. It's even more evil. Let's keep them alive so we can whack them. You know, REM, the end of the world as we know it. Overflow. Well, the reason that there was an overflow, population overflow, is because they fucking helicopter mommed us. If they'd just leave us alone and let us do a bunch of fucking drugs and have our liberty and stuff, well, people would die faster, right? If you could drive down the road without a seatbelt and you get in a wreck, well, it's your fucking fault. They just removed our liberties to the point that we overloaded the world with our population, and now they want to dictate everything we do. They get, it's power. It's all about power to them, right? And now there's so many of us because of their power hunger, their hunger for power. Now they've kept us, let's keep them alive so we can whack them, all right? Yeah, I know that translated into the, let's abort babies after they're born. I caught that in your show the other day. I pay a whole lot closer attention. You probably already know that. Anyways, the reason I was going to make this video is I'm trying to figure out how you travel back in time. Obviously, that is possible. It's got to be, okay? Either that or paperclip, this technology that we got from Hitler, is capable of forecasting the future. And then you got to think about it now. If you could forecast all of that in MASH, which is absolutely everything to do with current affairs right now. I mean, I know you get that, Alex. There's probably people in the military that's skeptical, and that's because their minds are all fucked up by nanotechnology that Jews put in them. I'm serious. However, somebody's seen that shit coming a long time ago, and I've pointed out that might have been what the Holocaust was about. If you had this technology and you could see this Jewish tyranny coming that we're coming up on right now, well, don't you think somebody would do something about it? I mean, I'm not saying the Holocaust was right. You got to stop and ask yourself these questions, right? If they can see, if in 1964 they knew that President Trump was going to get elected, that Vegas was going to happen, it's all in there. John Trapper, Dick Hooker. Of course, it's all in Spanish. This isn't different dimension shit. They just didn't want to make it too obvious. They wanted to make it just obvious enough that anybody that's got a pretty good mind at discovering, things, that slicing that onion, like you say, is going to notice it and go, this technology's been around for a long time, right? But how could you pull that off back then without controlling people's minds? Either the script, the guy's name was Dick Hooker. That's his real name. That wasn't an actor in MASH, right? The guy that wrote it or whatever, his real name was Dick Hooker. Russia, Defense Industrial Complex, Hooker. You got President Trump. Had sex with Russian hookers, probably has the Russian stone the same way that I got it. That's why I'm so involved in all this, and I'm able to point it out, okay? And I schnoodle pretty hard with Lavrov and President Putin for some reason. I like Lavrov, by the way. You rang. And that one blow your mind. Thing, turning the pages. That's Sputnik. Thing is Sputnik. The CIA's known about this for a long time. By the way, they've been rubbing elbows with fucking Russia for a long time. Anyways, we have the same technology. Well, Lockheed put the Hubble, which is quantum, right? I think this new technology that Lockheed put in outer space is a little more sophisticated than what they had originally. And that's why these people thought I was Jesus in their little secret society. Pretty much snuck up and butt-fucked this game up because I had far superior technology. And Uncle Vlad got wrapped up with me here because that far superior technology traversed me around the globe, collect them all. I have all these dang stones. They'll drive me fucking nuts. But anyways, I'm trying to explain how a lot of this is possible. And what I can't figure out is how in the hell you travel back in time, right? What I'm getting at, obviously, everybody's minds have been controlled since at least key figures, writers, script writers, things like that. Martin Luther King, of course, Lockheed Martin takes the high road. They don't control everybody's mind like this other technology's doing and created a flat-out technocracy in America. Everybody's mind is controlled, Alex. Everybody's. And it goes back to at least 1964. And another thing you got to stop and ask yourself, and they're trying to spin this off as ET, okay? It's man-made technology, okay? All right. Now, if it can come back from the future, well, yeah, I guess you could call it ET if you want. It's whatever, okay? Now, the Holocaust, all right? How do you get an entire country on board with genocide, right? This technology that we took from Hitler. Mind control, Alex. This 5G and all of that's... I don't think it's really, I'm telling you, everybody's mind is controlled. I can tell, okay? I catch it in simple conversations, man. I can tell that everybody's mind is controlled. It's not just politicians and shit like that now. It's the whole freaking country, man. Everybody's mind's controlled. Already, this 5G isn't that important to making that worse. Now, I don't like it. They need to figure out how to put an end to this shit. Anyways, well, I can't get my lights to come back on, so end that video there. I just wanted to pass that one along to you there, Alex.